All right, so folks, joining me today to talk about this end, and let's just be honest with ourselves, it's probably the end of the era right now for the Jets. What a shock. I say that sarcastically, of course. Dan Feuerstein of the Jets podcast. Dan, how you doing?
I'm not doing great at all. No,
Imagine.
after the abomination that we watched on Thursday Night Football through Amazon Prime, it was the worst Jets performance I have ever seen this team play in the current Robert Saleh era,
Yeah.
including the way this season was supposed to go, and now it's turned into one giant turd.
It's turned into total chaos. Before we get into Zach Wilson and whether he's the guy or not the guy, or whether the Jets need to go out and look for another quarterback, which is obviously the situation they find themselves in. It's been that, I mean, if it has been obvious to you, or I mean this to the viewer in general, if it has been obvious in general, generally speaking, when they made the move after the New England game, if it wasn't obvious to you then, I hope it's obvious to you now. But before we get to that, when we were sitting here in preseason, and we said, what would be considered a successful season for the Jets? Because, you're coming with a team that had come off of a 4-win season. The year before that, only won 2 games. I thought, okay, maybe this team can win 6 games. You said 7. Right now, they're at 7. And the way things are going, they might stay at 7, end up 7-10. And we both thought, well, if they end up with like 6 or 7, I guess you could consider that a success. That changes as the season plays out. Because what we've seen here, we've seen a team that went from ascending, team that looked like it could make the playoffs, team that looked like they could get some primetime games, other than this one, in their schedule that flexed into Sunday night. A team that, once they made the change at quarterback even as well, they thought, oh my God, this team's still ascending. They beat up on the Bears, should have beat the Vikings, but, they're still ascending, and crash land. Boom. Massive explosion. This team, and the way this season has turned out, it's nothing but a failure. Because when you look at the way this team has drafted over the last couple of years, and really the free agents they've also brought in, but the amount of talent they have with guys, and we all know the names again: Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, a defense that, yes, has its issues, and I had issues with the defense last night. Quinton Williams and Quincy Williams, and before he got injured, Breece Hall. All the talent on this team, a team that is on the rise. And when you look at the talent around this team, it still is on the rise. But considering all of that and the way things have now played out here in the last several weeks, it's a disappointment, Dan. It is a disappointing way this season has gone, that they're going to miss the playoffs. I know they still have a legitimate chance, but they're not going to make the playoffs. It's a major disappointment in my mind. It really is.
And I absolutely agree. It is a major disappointment. Look, when we made our preseason predictions, as you said, I was looking at the positives of saying, you know what, I think we got ourselves a very good roster, but there would still be some growing pains
Yeah.
this season. But that 5-game winning streak, the narrative changed completely. The narrative changed. And then, of course, the Bills' victory at home, where you played a hell of a game.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go into the bye week and you're thinking to yourself as a Jet fan, everything's changing. It's changing for the better. This team will make the playoffs. We have a great feeling they'll make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just couldn't get over the hump on the road at the Patriots.
Yep.
You had to make that change because you saw the way Zach Wilson played against the Patriots for 2 games in a row against the Patriots, where he just didn't have it.
Yeah.
Then you go to Mike White. And, you had to destroy the Bears, and they basically did. And even though they didn't get the victories against Minnesota and Buffalo on the road, the truth is they were working well with Mike White behind center. Now, it's an absolute shame that Mike White had a rib injury. And, thankfully it wasn't broken, but, it's a fracture. But if you do get hit the right spot, that fracture could have punctured something. And you don't want to lose Mike White that way. And then you're hoping that the reset when Zach Wilson came back and would be like, you know what, maybe he finally learned something. Maybe finally, he's gotten that 3 week rest and that he's going to be out there and maybe he'll show us something. And he showed us a little bit of something and then became absolutely nothing. That performance by Zach Wilson,
Yeah.
especially against the Jacksonville Jaguars team that, you know, I will admit that Trevor Lawrence found whatever he found to turn his early career around to become a better quarterback in this league. He proved it right there. Because why? Because Doug Peterson is a better head coach than he had with Urban Meyer last year in his rookie year. That's for sure. That's for damn sure.
Well, Doug Peterson isn't exactly hanging out of bars. Let's just say that.
No. I'm not saying no. But you can. But what you can say is when you have a competent head coach, he can turn it around.
Yeah.
Because this is Doug Peterson's second team, and he has pedigree winning the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. That's all I'm saying. What we are witnessing here, and let's read between the lines with Robert Saleh. I think Robert Saleh right now is showing he is the coach of this team. If you watch the post-game show on SNY, obviously he's going to defend Zach Wilson because he's not going to blast him in front of the media. He's never going to do that.
Right.
You have to read in between the lines and actually pay attention to what he says. Because he knows he had to make that switch with Strepler. He knows that this young man who is supposed to be the best thing to come out of the college ranks since sliced bread is not doing it.
No, he's not.
He's not doing it. And if you want to see the stats from last night with Zach Wilson, under 3.5 quarters of this game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, completed 9 out of 18 attempts for 92 yards. Forget even the turnover because that was at the end of the first half. That you just scrub it. Forget it. It's just not worth even talking about the interception. Quarterback rating of 41.9. I mean, how abysmal and abominable is that?
Well, actually, his Patriots games are worse.
They are worse.
That's actually remarkable. The Patriot games are worse. The
Yeah.
fact is, Dan, I have had enough of Zach Wilson. I have had enough of the hype around Zach Wilson. The Jets overdrafted this guy. All right. Yes, they won one too many games the year before in 2020, and they put themselves in a position where they couldn't get Trevor Lawrence, obviously the number one pick, who went to Jacksonville. Forget that. But the fact is this. All we heard about in the pre-draft was Zach Wilson. Oh, he's got the arm talent. Oh, my God, the off-platform throws. Oh, my God, he looks like Patrick Mahomes. Oh, my God. And it was the same crew. And it's the same crew of people who still, to this day, defend this guy to the hilt. But the fact is, he doesn't know how to play the position. He continues to make bad reads. He misses wide open receivers in the flat. In the flat. He had Garrett Wilson wide open in the flat, and he couldn't hit him. He couldn't. He threw behind him. He can't hit the check down pass. When he does, and he has a lot of zip on his fastball. I give him that. But when he does zip it, sometimes guys can't catch because it's like catching a hot potato. I mean, he just overthrows all the time. He doesn't. Yes, he's great on the run when things are breaking down, and he's doing the John Elway impression of running around in circles and throwing the ball across his body. That's great. That's great. But the fact is, he just doesn't know how to get the job done when standing in the pocket. He doesn't know how to get the job done when he's facing a blitz. He's just ineffective. And the coaching that he has received from the Jets is putrid. I put a lot of the blame on Mike LaFleur, who I don't think is a good offensive coordinator. Oh, the Jets overdrafted Zach Wilson. Overdrafted him. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Justin Fields is better or that Mac Jones is better, but their pedigree coming out of college was better. And now here we are in this situation where the Jets are going to find themselves again in a situation where they have to look at the quarterback again. And look, I have nothing against Zach Wilson. I think he's a good kid. I think he's a good guy. I think he really wants to succeed, and I want to see him succeed. But unfortunately, he's in a situation now, Dan, where it's over. There's no turning back. It's one thing to get benched from Mike White, who was the 171st pick in the draft in 2018. It's another when you're getting benched for a practice squad guy who's never thrown an NFL pass
until Thursday night.
Until yesterday, yeah. It's over.
It's over.
It's no turning back now. They have to move on.
No, I mean, we always talk about how quarterback regresses. Like, what do you see that makes you think that he's not doing the things he should be doing anymore? Like, he's completely regressed.
Yeah.
That was the fastest regression
Oh my
I've
God.
ever seen a young NFL quarterback have this season.
I thought Mark
I don't,
Sanchez' regression many years ago was fast, but this topped it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, it did. It
Yeah.
completely topped it. You can have all the tools that you need to succeed.
Yeah.
But the one thing you need the most, that is the biggest question mark ever as a young professional athlete, do you have the brains and do you have the knowledge and the ability to read what's in front of you and to make a very fast decision and an accurate decision to throw the football?
Yeah.
Do you have that?
Yeah.
Zach Wilson does not.
I mean,
And yes, I'll even admit that the offensive line once again has shown its true colors, that it's still broken,
yep.
but that's half of the problem. The other half is the quarterback, who is not able to accurately throw the ball in the flat 5-10 yards in front of him. He can make the amazing play, but even then, it's just not good enough. Competent quarterback play is not in this kid's DNA and the vocabulary. And the worst thing of all is this. The worst thing of all is this. You should have sat him right off the bat. You should have sat him down right off the bat. Why are the Pittsburgh Steelers drafting Kenny Pickett in the first round and sitting him right away? Because they don't want to destroy him.
Exactly. Exactly.
You have to go get a veteran quarterback to start the season last year and make sure that he learns what to do, learns what not to do, learns how you are going to be a quarterback in this league.
This,
And you suffer the consequences no matter what.
yeah. This, and you bring up a great point. And this staff, from the front office to the coaching staff on down, made the exact same mistakes that the previous administrations made. And I'm talking about Todd Bowles, Mike McCagnon, and Adam Gase with regards to Sam Darnold. They drafted Sam Darnold right away. And then instead of playing either Josh McCown or Teddy Bridgewater right away to start that season, they throw Sam Darnold into the fire. Now, he started to show improvement, but then quickly regressed after that because of all the bizarre coaching changes they made. So the fact is, you bring in Saleh and Douglas, and they make the same damn mistake. Even worse. Even worse. And they haven't they failed this kid. They failed this kid in the development process. He has also failed himself. He just doesn't get him. Jets have given this kid a chance. They gave him every opportunity to succeed. Unfortunately, it's just not going to work. And even if he plays next week against Seattle and plays decently, you and I both know there's no real turning back now with him. There's none.
No,
And
there isn't.
they have to move on for the
And
benefit
I
of both
want
the franchise and him. Go ahead.
to not allow Zach Wilson to actually sit on the sidelines and learn. That's that's a major mistake. But you know what? It's a major mistake anyway, because the kid is not learning on his own either.
No.
And that's the worst of the worst.
They have to move from him. I know the rookies deals, they have 2 years left in the contract. So it was like a 4-year deal with the fifth-year option. I understand that. But they have to move on. I don't care what you get for him at this point. I don't
Nope.
care if you get a fifth-round pick, sixth-round pick, seventh-round pick. I don't care if you get the water boy from somebody's team. It does not matter to me. The best thing for the Jets, the best thing for Zach Wilson is if this marriage, if you will, ends and ends as soon as possible. And the Jets have to move on. And the question is, who do they find next? Look, this is a talented team. I don't think they should change the head coach. I know some people have been saying, oh, let's go get Sean Payton, give him a blank check. Sean Payton's probably looking at other better opportunities elsewhere other than the Jets. No offense, Jets are a good team, But I don't think this is all on Robert Saleh. I think he's a good coach. I would not move on from him.
Robert Saleh, you can see the progression of turning things around. They are turning things around. We didn't expect them to make the playoffs
No,
this year. And then things are changing. Now, granted, it completely stunk that you lost Elijah Vera Tucker and you lost Brees Hall at the same time, at the same game at the Denver Broncos. That was horrible.
can I say something about that?
Absolutely horrible.
Can I say something quickly before you move on? That game was really the turning point for me because Zach Wilson didn't play well in that game, and he was having a lot of the same issues he's had all year. Missing open receivers, having a hard time reading the defense, and he was saved in that game because Brees Hall had like what was it, a 65, 70-yard touchdown,
62-yard run. Yep.
right, 62-yard touchdown run, and that's the reason why the Jets won the game. Of course, the defense was great that day as well, but that was it. And I thought, well, this is a great. It's nice to get this win, but man, our quarterback really stunk in this game,
Yeah.
and it's been this progression downward ever since. And as you said, losing Brees Hall and AVT killed a lot of the momentum for this offense.
It really did. But, I think the Jets have the right guy coaching this team
I agree.
in Robert Saleh. And you can definitely say, I'm excited for the future.
I'll say
But
this:
right now in the present, it's an absolute unmitigated disaster.
I'll be excited for the future depending on who their quarterback is, because if their quarterback next year is going to be Zach Wilson, forget about it. You can forget it.
Yes.
They have, like I said, they have to move on from him. Now, there's a lot of free agents out there, and some names are good, some names are not good, or just okay. Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo, Baker Mayfield is going to be out there. Lamar Jackson is going to be out there, but he's probably going to get franchise tagged as we discussed offline by the Ravens, so he's not going to be free probably. But no, there's going to be a lot of names out there at quarterback that they could go out there and get for a veteran quarterback. They need to get a veteran in here, and I would try to re-sign Mike White. He's an unrestricted free agent at the end of this year. Resign him to a 2 or 3 year deal, and you go into camp, in my mind, with Mike White against X, whoever that veteran quarterback is, and you go from there. I don't want to hear about drafting another quarterback. I don't want to hear about, well, we love this kid from Kentucky or this kid from Florida or whatever. I don't care. I don't care. The Jets have been down this road too many times. Mark Sanchez, Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, and now Zach Wilson. That's 4 quarterbacks in the last now 10 years that they have ended up drafting in the first round or even second round that have not worked out. Go with the veteran. Go with the guy who basically was a mid round pick who wants to be out there and has the desire to prove everybody wrong. Go with those 2 guys, and let's see what happens with a team that is building up on talent. That's my opinion. And send Zach Wilson somewhere where it's better for him than being in this situation he's in right now.
Once the season,
yeah.
Once this season is over,
Right.
you tell every NFL team Zach Wilson's available.
That's it.
You tell them that Zach Wilson's available when you get to the free agent period or when it's time to make trades at the end of the season. Zach Wilson's available. Go ahead and offer me whatever you want. I don't care.
Hey, look, so someone will give him a chance. I mean, look, they keep giving Josh Rosen chances, right?
Yeah.
They keep giving Marcus Mariota chances. So
Yep.
someone's going to look at Zach Wilson and say, "Oh, he's got the arm talent."
Thank God for Mike White for actually figuring it out before he got his chance to be the quarterback. And let me just say this.
Right.
Look, you know this and I know this. Chris Drevler is never going to be an NFL quarterback, for the long haul. At best, practice, the practice team,
Yeah.
and a third stringer. If you want to say maybe a backup, okay, fine, maybe a backup if you want to. It's fine. But at least he showed he's competent enough to lead the team down the field. Something that Zach Wilson is not able to do at all. Not able to lead the team down the field. But the truth is, he backpedals 5-10 yards away from the line of scrimmage already before he's able to set his feet and throw the ball. That's way too much.
Yeah.
Way too much. You got to be decisive right away.
I got 2 more things to say. One is this: when Al Michaels, who has not done a Jets game since 2012, and hasn't been around any Jets game since 2012 when they had the butt fumble game, says about Zach Wilson that he looks like someone who just doesn't know what's going on out there. He looks like he's just doesn't. He looks like a deer in the headlights. That it's just not computing for him. What does that say? When Al Michaels makes that comment, and he hasn't seen the team in over a decade, what does that say about? Let's tell you about what's going on with Zach Wilson. Two, you mentioned also development of quarterbacks and making them sit and letting them learn behind a veteran quarterback. Look at all these other quarterbacks who have turned out pretty well. It's not just about sitting. It's about who your offensive coach is. Take a look. Josh Allen had Brian Daboll as his offensive coordinator. Daniel Jones now has Brian Daboll as his head coach, obviously, but again, he's certainly working with him when he has an opportunity to get him play much more competently. Patrick Mahomes, of course, has Andy Reid. Now, I'm not telling you to change the head coach. We think the head coach is a good head coach, but that's where they failed Zach Wilson again. They didn't bring in a veteran offensive coordinator here that could really work with them. I know the Greg Knapp situation, notwithstanding, was very unfortunate, but that's really where the Jets failed. They failed the quarterback, and of course, he has unfortunately failed the team, and the team has lost confidence in him, I think, just my personal opinion, and he certainly has lost the fan base.
Yeah, final thought. I agree with you. When you have Al Michaels or any, whether it be Al Michaels, whether it be Ian Eagle, or even any top analyst or any top play-by-play man for the NFL, tells you on the broadcast that he looks lost. He looks like a deer lost in the headlights. That is an indictment of how Zach Wilson's career has been. As very short as it is, it's really a shame when someone of that stature broadcasting NFL games tells you he stinks.
Yeah. I got some good news for you. As we close out this show, I got some good news for you. We got 52 days. Now that the Jet season is going down the toilet, 52 days until spring training begins.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
Yes, but I'm still upset that this Jet season has fallen apart the way it has because, look, you know me very well. You know I'm overly confident on certain things that happened during the Jet season that maybe I'm expecting, a turnaround somewhere in the season where they could get more than the 4 wins that they will always get. This season surprised me.
Yep.
And then I got disgusted.
Yeah.
And it's like I can't watch. I can't listen to WFAN. I can't listen to ESPN radio. I can't watch Jets social media YouTube shows of Jet content. I can't watch it anymore because I'm so disgusted.
You're gonna watch this one.
Well, I don't mind being on here because we can talk about this because we can give ourselves an honest opinion about what we saw out there. Yeah. But I can't watch it. I can't watch, the optimism because I don't see it. The 2-win season 2-3 years ago killed me.
Yeah,
it absolutely destroyed me. It soured me. I was happy to see what was going on, and now it's like back down to complete garbage.
Last night felt like a team that was you had the team that was 13-2 and the other one that was 2-13. That's what it felt like last night.
Yes.
The Jaguars, I know we're running out of time here. The Jaguars look like a team that's going to be a big deal. Not just right now. They may win that division this year. They look like they're going to be a beast in that division for a long time in the AFC South. They're good. They're real good. Same old Jets. Same old Jets. Okay, anyway. Folks, I want to thank you all for tuning in and suffering with us. We'll talk to you next time here on the Sports Talk Nation. Happy holidays, and we'll talk to you later.